So I hope you've read through the PDF already of the 7 most stressful financial concerns for pre-retirees. And in the first video that I sent you, we address unforeseen expenses and how by living in Thailand, really you reduce a lot of those unforeseen expenses to the degree where it's not going to really impact your retirement budget or your retirement nest egg. Because things in Thailand are cheap. That's sort of a given now. You know, when I first started doing my YouTube channel, I was like the only one saying how cheap it was in Thailand. Now, my videos have sort of moved on to what life is like over here because it's sort of a given it's cheap. And it's cheap here, Cambodia, Vietnam, Panama, Costa Rica. Well, those places aren't quite as cheap. But anyway, so that was number 1. Now, number 2 is the biggest concern that we're going to talk about today of pre-retirees and retirees as well. What would that be? If you've read the document already, you know what number 2 is. It's depleting your retirement account before you deplete yourself. Before you pass on, what would happen if you ran out of money? How much money have you saved? This is a big one. And you're probably wondering, well, how is this going to be eliminated if I come to Thailand? Well, the thing about it is, in many places, when you compare the cost of being back home and what it costs to live, and the cost in Thailand, you can be paying as little as 33% of what it's costing you to live back home. 33%. So, let's say if you can budget yourself now for 5 years or 10 years living at the current model that you're living back home, and you can live 33% cheaper, that means your money can go 66% further than what it would now, which means you would triple the amount of time that you could live off that same amount of money. I'm putting together something, and by the time you watch this, it might already be finished. I'm putting together a break-even calculator because a lot of people are concerned about the money. It's a big deal. And people are saying, well, I think I should take it at 62 years old when I can take it, my Social Security, if you're back home in the States. Other countries, it's a different age or a different program. And so in America, you can take it at 62. It maximizes, or full retirement is at 66, or you can actually get more if you waited till 70. So it's incremental. So some people say, okay, 62, I'll go ahead and take the money. Other people say, well, I'll wait till I'm 66 and take the money because I can get another $100, $150 a month or $200 a month. And other people say, no, I'll wait till I'm 70. Some people say, I got to work forever. I can't retire. It's too expensive. But this calculator I'm putting together is called a break-even calculator. And what it shows is that if you took the money in your retirement at 62 as opposed to 66, now you can plug in any years you want, but let's say 62 to 66, you have as much money in your pocket at 66 if you started at 62 as it would take if you started at 66 to get that money in your pocket again, which you already have if you took it earlier. And it's like 10 years or something before you break even, got the same amount of money you would have at 66 if you took it earlier. Now that's great if you think you're going to live to 80 or 90 years old. Maybe you need that much money going. But this thing about running out of money, I had some members on my member site that were school teachers. This is just an example, a way to massage numbers and think about this. They were school teachers, and they were given the option because California was running out of money. They were given the option of retirement. Now, if anybody's heard of or lived in California, you know how expensive it is there. It's one of the most expensive places in America for the most part. At the end of every month, there was more month left at the end of the money. And so they were depleting their retirement savings every month, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. And this happened to my father as well. He passed away before his money was gone, but eventually he would have had no money because he still continued to live in the same house, and his lifestyle didn't change. So they were given the option of early retirement. So they started looking at the numbers. The point of this is that these school teachers came over to Thailand, and they lived in a 2-story, 3-bedroom, 3-bath house, brought their dogs over. They lived in this house, and the funny thing about it was at the end of every month, they saved money. They got richer by not working. They increased their finances every month by not living in the United States, taking the same pension. So there's a lot of ways to massage these numbers. So when it comes to the fear of depleting your retirement savings, if you think about it and you come over and you look at, okay, what budget could I live off of? And this is what I always recommend people. When you come over, already know what your budget's going to be. Say you got $500 to live on. You're going to be living meagerly, but a lot better than back in the West where you'd be under an overpass eating cat food out of a cardboard box. You could live a decent life. It would be very frugal, but it would be a lot better. And people here are friendly. You can talk to people. It's just a whole different lifestyle. The intangibles we don't put a price on, but they're big over here. Okay? So if you have $1,000 or $1,500 a month as a budget, you need to say, okay, and I have a retirement budget calculator which will break down different groupings of costs, normal average costs for housing, for food, for entertainment, all these things, and plug that number in, and maybe I'll try and put the link if I remember on this email so that you can go to it and plug your budget in and say, okay, how much for food, how much for housing, and then when you come over to Thailand, you want to say, okay, I have this much money to spend on housing, and go look and see what you could rent for that amount of money that would fit that budget. And then you're going to say, yeah, this is pretty nice, I could do this. Or the food. Can you spend $5 on a meal, $10 on a meal? If so, if it's $5, go see where you can buy food for $5 a meal and see if that satisfies you or you feel comfortable eating in that type of venue, that establishment, the quality of the food and everything like that. And then see if you can live off the budget. For many people, they're going to look at the retirement budget and they're going to come in way under it, which means that they can stash money away for other things, for traveling back home to visit relatives or for side trips to different countries or whatever. So this thing about running out of money pretty much gets eliminated depending on what your budget is. So some of you are saying, well, what about medical? Something drastic happens medically, or just average medical concerns could deplete my retirement savings account. And that's true. But and we're going to get more into insurance costs and the cost of medical and stuff like that. But I just want to mention that here because this comes into part of this depletion of your retirement savings account. And that is millions of people come to Thailand for medical tourism reasons. In fact, in 2012, I think there was 2.5 million people came to Thailand to get medical procedures done as a medical tourist. Why would they do that? Why would they come to Thailand for their medical needs? It's because it's cheap in Thailand to get medical care. And the care is top-notch. In fact, some of the hospitals are like resorts that you go to. And it's not that expensive compared to back home. Heck, you can get a bypass surgery here for, I don't know, $10,000, $11,000 US dollars here. And if you looked into the PDF, you'd see we actually have those listed under one of the categories. And we'll get to all those in the future here in some of these other videos. But yeah, your golden years are golden years, and hopefully they'll continue to be golden years without the concerns of the medical problems as well as other issues. And we're going to go through all these other issues. This is number 2. But I just wanted to mention to you that, I mean, don't worry so much about the medical care. Like I said, we'll go into that. I mean, I had broken my finger here about 3 weeks ago. This bone here, they call it a boxer's fracture. And I went into a hospital and the emergency room, and they x-rayed it. They set a soft cast and gave me 3 prescriptions. And what was the cost, Nat? 1,200 baht. So that's like 30 some odd dollars for all that. So that's just an example. We'll get into more examples here later. But I hope you're finding these videos coming at you helpful and you appreciate the information, and maybe it's alleviating some of the worry or stress about heading into retirement and what things are like over in Thailand compared to where you live as far as addressing some of these concerns and some of these stresses. So the next video coming at you will be number 3, and that'll be meeting the rising insurance costs. And so it'll be coming in a few days, I think. I'll send it to you, but look forward to that. And I hope these, again, you're finding these useful. And remember, when it comes to how much you spend of your retirement account on a monthly basis, there's always an option. You can change your lifestyle. You can even increase the amount of money you got coming in, because now online income is a great way to supplement your retirement money. And there's ways to do that, and I show it on my member site. But anyway, there's always an option. Don't worry so much about depleting your retirement account. If you're thinking about this, we're going to be going into a lot more options about how to take care of all these concerns. But for right now, it's a given that you don't have to worry about depleting your retirement account, right? It goes a lot further if you're in Thailand. So there you go. Number 2, finish. Look forward to meeting you in number 3. Coming at you soon. JC out.